Welcome to battle number 1 of week number 8 of the FnF Victory Road Draft League Season 2. This battle is going to be pitting Noel's team, which is Sun and Friendly, versus Lionhug's team, which is Florida Flesh Ribbons. As a reminder, the Mega Pokemon available in this battle is Mega Sableye on Florida Flesh Ribbons, and the Z Pokemon available in this battle are Latias with Z Attack, Arcanine with Z Any on Noel's team, and on Lionhug's team we have Volcarona with Z Attack. So it is possible we could see a Z move in this battle. We'll definitely be seeing at least one Mega. This is going to be a replay recording of kind of like a reflection. I'm actually joined by Lionhugs right now, and we're going to give our thoughts on the match, commentate it really quick, and then give our afterthoughts. So we're going to start with initial thoughts. So just first thoughts you had, what was your thought process behind team building, and what did you think when you entered this battle and saw the 6 Pokemon that were on the other side? Do you want to start, or should I start?
I think I'll start. Okay, so when playing against Noel's team, I kind of had this dilemma of like, oh no, I have like 8 or 9 Pokemon that are actually fantastic, and I was having such a hard time picking like the right 6 that I needed. And ultimately what I decided on was obviously the team in front of you. However, one of the big reasons why I brought Mega Sableye specifically was to kind of shut down Klefki. So once I saw Klefki wasn't there and saw more heavier hitters like Arcanine and Venusaur and Excadrill, I was like, oh man, now I wish I had Pyukumuku or Archeops or things like that. So like I felt like, I don't know, like my overall strategy was just like a little off, so I kind of started like questioning like how well I could do this match. But I mean,
okay, well, I actually had a lot of trouble building for this because right off the bat, like my team has a couple of options it could use, but right off the bat I was like, okay, Kingdra gets up a Rain Dance and I'm like, my career has ended. So I needed to find a way to counter Kingdra, but then also Scarf Archeops gave me a lot of trouble in team building. Pyukumuku, because like if I boosted it could wall me, so I was kind of stuck, and I made like 4 different teams because I kept second guessing myself and seeing like, oh, this is vulnerable to this is vulnerable to that. So I decided to go with the team concept that actually kind of like, it was kind of Sun mixed with like paralysis spreading and annoying with support with a Arcanine Wincon. So I ended up with that, and I thought it was really gimmicky. I was like, this is either going to work really well or it's not going to work at all. So yeah, when I saw Archeops and Pyukumuku weren't there though, I felt a lot more comfortable because those were like 2 of the Pokemon that really got in my way. I was a little bit scared though when I saw Galvantula, because Sticky Webs would have been really bad for me, and my only defogger was actually Latias. So I was like, okay, please don't set up a Sticky Web because I need to outspeed and KO some of the Pokemon. So that was my thought process going in. I don't know if you have any more to add.
oh, just for openings, I mean, like, well, we can just go ahead and get started. I guess we can just talk afterwards.
Okay, so I'm going to commentate the battle, and then we'll share our closing thoughts afterwards. So we are going to commentate now. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so it looks like the battle has begun, and the first Pokemon to come out are Rolly the Togedemaru versus Sableye, Scrabyota the Sableye. This is actually the first time that Rolly has come out. It is holding an air balloon, but it's going to switch right out into Fire Pup the Arcanine. Scrabyota is going to go ahead and stay in, Mega Evolve, and go for the knockoff. The knockoff is not going to knock off an item, which means that Arcanine is not holding an item, or it's holding a Z Crystal, and Justified is actually going to raise its attack. Scrabyota decides to go for Protect to scout out what move Arcanine is going to use, and Arcanine goes for Agility, which is good for Arcanine considering that Protect pretty much was a wasted turn pretty much. Scrabyota is going to switch out to Polo though, realizing that Sableye can't really do much, but a Flare Blitz is going to hit Polo really hard, taking it down and doing pretty massive damage in return via recoil. The score is now 6-5. In comes Hurricane Andrew to the Kingdra to resist that Flare Blitz and maybe have a chance of taking down Arcanine, but Arcanine is going to power itself with its Z Crystal, and the Z move is going to be all out pummeling, and that is going to take down Hurricane Andrew to the Kingdra. Score is now 6-4 with Fire Pup the Arcanine looking pretty scary with that agility boost. Scrabyota is going to come back in, maybe to take that next Flare Blitz. It's going to scout out with Protect, and Fire Pup is going to use Morning Sun, again taking advantage of that Protect turn and restoring some of its HP to allow itself to Flare Blitz a little bit more. Flesh the Sylveon now comes in, and Fire Pup the Arcanine goes for another Flare Blitz, taking down Sylveon and again doing some pretty massive damage in recoil to itself. The score is now 6-3. And now Florida Moth the Volcarona comes out. Another Flare Blitz is going to deal massive damage, taking Volcarona down, but bringing Fire Pup down to 11% HP. It won't be able to do another Flare Blitz and live. And Galvantula Admiral Trench is the next one to come out. And Flare Blitz is going to hit it hard, taking it down, but Fire Pup does go down in the process due to that recoil damage. The score is now 5-1. And then finally, Scrabyota is going to come out, Sableye. Again, we have Rolly the Togedemaru still on that balloon. And Rolly's going to go for a Nuzzle. This is going to paralyze Scrabyota. Scrabyota is going to return with a knockoff, removing that balloon. Rolly goes for the Zing Zap with that flinch paralysis chance, hoping for the flinch, but Scrabyota does not flinch and instead burns Rolly, diminishing its usefulness considering Scrabyota does have Recover. And now Rolly is going to switch out to Full Bloom the Venusaur. If Venusaur is a special attacker, it's not going to mind getting burned, unlike Rolly. Scrabyota is now at full HP, still paralyzed, and Full Bloom is actually going to go for a Growth, increasing its special attack and attack stats. Knockoff is going to attack Full Bloom. Scrabyota is going to use Knockoff to attack Full Bloom, removing its Life Orb. Full Bloom is going to Giga Drain though, and that does some decent damage while also restoring some HP. It looks like Sableye goes for the burn on Full Bloom, but it won't affect Giga Drain. Scrabyota might be hard to take down. It might be up to a Paralysis or increased Growths to take it down, and indeed, Growth is what Full Bloom does. Going up in its special attack, Scrabyota is going to Recover. And Full Bloom, meanwhile, is still hurt by that burn. Full Bloom goes for the Giga Drain. This time it does 44%, almost a 2-hit KO. It will need one more Growth for it to be a 2-hit KO, and Scrabyota is paralyzed. And indeed, Full Bloom goes for the Growth, which ensures that Giga Drain will be a 2-hit KO on Scrabyota, who is still paralyzed. This next turn, if Full Bloom uses Giga Drain, could be Scrabyota's last. And the Giga Drain is going to hit Scrabyota, taking it down, restoring Full Bloom's HP, and that is the match. It is a 5-0 victory for Noel's team, Sun Friendly over Lionhug's team, Florida Flesh Ribbons. And we'll share some of our closing thoughts now. I don't know if you want to go first or I should go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. So, like,
Go into that, I was kind of like, ooh, just like as a sign out over at, we've had some troubles like regarding this, like that factor aside, like, you obviously played very well. And, yeah, I kind of feel like the match was sort of decided basically on turn 2, like once, or turn 3 I think. Like once you set up the agility after getting the boost from Justified, there was pretty much nothing I could have done other than maybe send out Sylveon. Like, if I sent out Sylveon a turn earlier, she was actually my ring net setter because I choiced Kingdra. Like, I did like a lot of calculations on my own, and it seemed like there was no way I could, like, kind of like how you said your Arcanine was WinCon, Kingdra was could have sort of taken up that role, and yeah, I never got the chance to set that up, so I felt like there was like a lot of, I guess, like mistakes that I made that just played very well into the game, regardless. And you did mention earlier with your initial thoughts how like, or I think when we were talking in chat one the other, how like Galvantula Sticky Web could have really put a damper on your day. And yeah, like that was definitely a move I had. I had Sticky Web Galvantula, I just didn't lead with it because I was doubting whether or not I wanted to spread knockoffs and like Will-O-Wisps, set up Stealth Rock immediately, or set up Sticky Web. And I clearly underestimated, I suppose, Arcanine, just figuring, oh, well, I can just surf it, or once I have a booster in the lane, it'll technical fire moves anyway, so even if it's a Z move, I'm totally protected, but that's clearly hubris. Also, Sylveon did have Damp Rock. This is like, I think, this is maybe like the second time ever, or third time ever, no, second time ever I've actually helped Damp Rock in a battle. It's almost always leftovers. I can't remember who it was against though. But yeah, I guess those are some of my initial thoughts with like how I approach this battle. But like, I mean, as y'all see, there wasn't really much I could do after the agility plus the Justified.
Yeah, there were a few things that could have stopped Arcanine, but the fact that you knocked off instead of Will-O-Wisp, like, I thought you were going to Will-O-Wisp, actually, so I mean, Arcanine still would have been a safe switch into Will-O-Wisp, but I wouldn't have had the increased attack. I don't know if you...
Yeah, that was an attempt to read you, because I figured...
this is also my problem with, like, Scraby Yoda's moveset or whatever. Like, I initially had it as, like... So the main reason I mentioned before where I brought it was the anti-Klefki Pokemon. Like, Reflect Spikes, just generally harass you, get rid of your items, etc., etc. Like, I'm so used to commentating your matches and seeing, oh, Klefki comes out with Balloon, and now it uses Magnet Rise. So I was so expecting that combo that I kind of just forgot that, like, other things could happen. We could have different movesets, let alone different Pokemon. So yeah, I ended up keeping Will-O-Wisp, and when I saw Arcanine and Torkoal there, I was like, oh, maybe it would be a waste of a move, so might as well just knock off any Pokemon that comes in, not realizing, like, wait a minute, Arcanine's probably has the actual Z Crystal, in which case I can't knock that off.
Yeah, I was aware that Klefki was a Pokemon that I was using a lot, and I was aware that Sableye kind of walls Klefki, so I was banking on you bringing Sableye, and it's not only good versus Klefki, it was also good versus a few other things, but I was... To an extent. But I was banking on you bringing Sableye, and when I saw that Archeops wasn't there, when I saw that Pyukumuku wasn't there because it could have stopped Arcanine in its tracks, I knew that, like, this became a favorable matchup to me. The only thing that would have, like, stopped Arcanine would have been, like, if you sashed one of your Pokemon. I actually thought that Galvantula was going to be sashed, so I was like, this is risky going for Flare Blitz, but let's just do it anyways. But yeah, it's funny because I considered so many different things. Like, I actually considered Shell Smash Torkoal, seriously, because I was so lost in team building, because there are so many hard stops on your team to, like, the momentum I could pick up. But I figured, okay, Arcanine with Justified and Agility. This thing can sweep. If it works really well. If it doesn't work, I might be screwed. And I went for it, and it worked. But yeah, I think the combination of not having a sash on one of your Pokemon, and because I knew that like I would have a really hard time setting up Stealth Rock versus you, because you had Mega Sableye or Spikes, so I didn't really attempt to do that time that much. Like I had it on Torkoal casually, but like I knew Sableye probably would have come in versus Torkoal. But yeah, so it was risky on my part, but yeah, I think once Sableye, because he didn't have any sashes, once Sableye knocked off Arcanine, I don't think anything could have really been done, because even if you switched instead of protected, I still would have gotten an agility up, because I would have done it on the switch and then I could have just swept. So that move like pretty much determined the game, I think. So yeah, that, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty happy it worked out. Like, I'm proud of myself for thinking of like an outside the box kind of like cool thing like that.
No, agreed, and like it kind of just serves to your benefit as well. Well, obviously you did win, but like you never necessarily want to get like too
Predictable.
too
Yeah.
comfortable with a certain kind of play style. Or like, for example, like in the server, like I believe it's me and you stuff primarily that are now $6 and a few others as well. So like people kind of come to expect certain process for me. Like last league, I was very known for opening specifically Metagross and always opening Stealth Rock.
Yeah.
Such that this league I decided to try to change things up a few times whenever I do bring Metagross. Where it's like, oh, like is it defensive? Is it more offensive? We'll see. And yeah, so in just like on the flip side, just the fact that like, you didn't bring Clef kind of really like threw me off for a bit. But yeah, you played excellently. And I think also just one thing I learned like during the middle of the battle was also like usually. So I know like meta-wise or whatever, it's usually like good to give certain Pokemon like Protect because you're trying to scout out moves, but every time I use it, personally, it just never seems to work out in my favor. It's like, okay, now I know you have this move. Like this information doesn't actually help me as much as I thought it would, or rather, I guess that's more me misusing when I'm supposed to be using Protect. Like, obviously in this matchup, like there were times where I used Protect and used Morning Sun to recover, or I used Protect and used Agility, rather than either another move or a switch in. But like you said, even with a switch in to Sylveon, for example, to attempt to set up Rain Dance, I believe that was actually a physically defensive Sylveon, so either way, like, there was no way I would have been able to get up that Rain Dance since Kingdra was choice, and that would have been pretty much my only counter at that point.
Well, that was
something.
That was something. It was a good match for me. I know that like it was probably like kind of like down, but I think a good lesson to learn from this definitely is just like from the battle you had with King Fuse, just like when to use passive Pokemon, because it could be really against your favor in terms of momentum when you misuse a passive Pokemon and let the opponent gain momentum too quickly.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard for me to properly use those kinds of Pokemon. I'm kind of used to, I guess, like, more balance, where, like, I believe we talked about this and you mentioned it in the previous commentary. Maybe it was with the match Confuse, but, like, when I make mistakes, especially like in the last league, but also in this league, when I make mistakes, I usually can rely on Sylveon to kind of like bail me out with like a Wayish or a Heal Bell, and then I can kind of reconvene my strategy, which, you know, it helps me kind of get back up on my feet. But you know that obviously in this battle that couldn't have even happened or helps. So that is something I definitely got to work on. And I mean, just for me personally, I think I'm gonna try to keep matches scheduled towards like the weekend, so I have a little bit more time to prepare. But I mean, I already had like extensive notes on your team. I went as hard as I could, and yeah, I mean, again, I justified Arcanine was pretty inspired, as well as just not bringing Klefki. Yeah.
Alright, well that was match number 1 of week 8. Tune in for some more matches that will come from week 8. they will come soon. Once again, this is Noel from Sun and Friendly, joined by Lion Hugs of Florida Flesh Ribbons, and stay tuned for more coming soon.